All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I'm having the honor and pleasure of chatting with my good friend Jen Aldrich.
Hi.
You guys may have seen her on episodes of the ACA stuff, like we'll say Atheist Experience.
No, let's not say Atheist Experience. I was fucking terrible on that episode. Let's not.
But she is also one of the co-hosts of Godless Bitches 3, which is the t-shirt she's wearing right now. There you go. And, well, Jen, you know what I do here. I talk to people about why they left religion and the journey that it took them on, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, and all that sort of stuff. So why don't we sort of start with you taking us back to when you kind of first started thinking, you know what, this stuff isn't as believable as people made it out to be, and how it led you to becoming an atheist activist that you are today.
Okay, so I have the most boring deconversion story fucking ever.
I've heard that.
Hi, Kathy. Just hi, everyone, because I don't like people. I don't like people feeling left out, like I'm ignoring them. That's terrible. Yeah, my deconversion story is like super boring. My extended family was either Irish Catholic or Roman Italian Catholic. So that's for the fucking batshit crazy.
Hardcore Catholic.
Yeah, hardcore Catholic. They were as much of hardcore Catholics as they were hardcore drinkers. So I think it kind of came, hand in hand too. Fucking camera. There we go. Okay. My immediate household, my father didn't give much of a shit about my life, period, let alone my spiritual life, I guess.
Right.
My mother is a theist, but she hates religion.
Oh, weird.
Right. It's weird. She believes in God. She prays. She talks to God. She talks to her dead relatives, but she thinks religion is something that was twisted and conformed to control the masses. So
right. Okay.
I'm just like, you're like right there. You're right there. Like just one more step.
Tip that domino.
But she taught me to question, and science was always big. The news was always on in my house. But she was, we're supposed to be Catholic, and we did the sacraments and the funerals and all that other bullshit. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, for my confirmation, I used to hook up with my longtime boyfriend in the church pews right before.
Ooh.
So that just goes to show you just how fucking seriously I took that shit, right? I was like, whatever, it's hookup hour. And however, her family is so Catholic that my aunt made my cousin get rid of her Billy Joel albums because he said Catholic schoolgirls were easy.
It kind of reminds me of that Frank Zappa song.
Yeah, she physically made her destroy all of her little Billy Joel cassettes. And my uncle works for the Archdiocese of New York City. He actually works for St. Patrick's Cathedral. And my father's family, it was never biblical roles. It was gender roles that were led by the church.
Right.
That were put on us. So like I said, it's, it's a very Italian, it's very Catholic. Women are shit. We're supposed to. Thank you. 2 days ago.
And I agree.
Thank you. I was a bright one up until 2 days ago, and I got really fucking tired of doing my roots. So here we go.
Now you're what do they call it? A fiery redhead.
Mahogany. It's the color is called mahogany. It doesn't smell like mahogany, but the color is fucking called mahogany. So a lot of the deconversion for me was I don't have to get married at 18. I don't have to pop out a bunch of breeding, praying eaters. Because that's what my family do. You're in the kitchen making sauce. You're on your back making a baby. You give birth. You get them baptized. You're back in the kitchen making more sauce. Wash, rinse, repeat. They breed. I call them praying eaters. They just breed praying eaters constantly. So it was separating that, and it was separating we didn't have a voice in my family as a woman. Your husband, did what he did, and you didn't say boo. And my family was racked with alcoholics, drug addicts. They all fucking cheated on their wives. All of them. Even my father, like every fucking one of them, it was expected that you had what was called a gumar, which is a girlfriend. And your wife just had to take this shit. And I remember looking around and I'm like, the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, but you're in my family. The parents are powerful enough to beat the kids, which thanks to my mother, I didn't get that end of it, at least not from her.
Right.
So you have no power with your husband, so you take your power out on your kids. And it bred this toxic, no boundaries. There are no fucking boundaries in my family. None. Like, my cousins are 24 and 22, and they still share a bedroom, male and female, with twin size beds in their mother's house.
What?
There are no fucking boundaries.
Time to move out.
Holy shit, I would have been running out of there at 16. Like, I have a job, I'm emancipated, get me the fuck out of this shit. But this is normal. Like, this is completely normal. We're not expected to have an opinion. We're not expected to have careers. We're not expected to do anything. And I was like, I remember my cousins crying that they gave birth to girls because it meant that they weren't as worthy.
Really?
They weren't giving birth to people who can continue the bloodline and the name.
Right.
And I'm like, what fucking name y'all got? You're broke. You're broke. You're a fucking drug addict. What fucking what god important name are we fucking dealing with here? And it fell into these gender roles. And I go to church, and I'm fucking doing my confirmation class. And I came from an area that was in poverty. I grew up in the projects. Mm-hmm. Fathers were absentee. They were in jail. They were in prison. Poverty level shit. And I remember the fucking priest, who we later found on the Catholic Church list of priests who were accused of molesting little boys.
Wonderful.
My confirmation priest, ladies and gentlemen. Turning around and saying that we need to praise men. We need to praise men. And, a man's word above all. And I stood up. I was 14. And I said, Father, we don't have a lot of men in this neighborhood. We have mothers that are raising sons. Well, you need to listen to your son. Oh, fuck you. Are you serious? I know what their little sons are out there doing. And trust me, a fucking duck in a pond shouldn't be listening to this motherfucker when he says he has bread, let alone his goddamn mother. No. And then it kept hitting me. I was like, I'm less. I'm less. And what always got me was, I'm created in God's image, but I am less than him.
Right.
So that's where the came from. And then I'm looking at like the creation story, and I'm like,
nope.
And I remember I'm sitting in my earth science class in 8th grade, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, this. Okay, so if Eve came from a rib, then why do men have the same amount of ribs that women do? Like, I'm banging questions back and forth, and nobody in my church can answer that. Nobody could. My parents couldn't answer it. So I'm like, well, off to science. And I just poured and I'm like, none of this shit makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this makes sense for things that we couldn't explain, but we can explain them now. And I'm looking around and I'm like, holy shit, this is a bunch of white ass motherfucking men trying to keep me down and pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I got into some of the older religions, and I'm like, but it's the same story. Holy shit, this is nothing but a game of telephone.
A broken telephone.
A broken telephone, no less. Like, your fucking call waiting's not even working. And I'm like, bitch, do you know a 3-way call? Because y'all ain't making sense right now. And it just didn't make any sense to me. The activism end came, like I said, I grew up in the projects, so I had this extremely incredible view of watching minorities be oppressed by religion yet praise it. Yeah,
I never understood that.
And I remember just looking around and going, and I came up in the hip hop era. I grew up with hip hop, so it was, as I was growing up, these stories were coming out from where we were coming from, and the world, the world is just shocked. And I'm like, we've been saying this. And then I started looking into, well, why are things like this? Why are there laws against women's autonomy? Why is it harder for minorities? Why? And the more I looked into laws, the more I realized they were religious based.
Mm-hmm.
The whole theory was it's moral against God. And I'm like, First Amendment says that we should not be doing.
That we should what?
Doing this. Like, why? And that's why when I come into debates and people, no to gay marriage, no to abortion, I look at them and say, give me one fucking reason that's religious why it shouldn't happen. And they can't answer it. They can't answer. So I'm like, okay, then it shouldn't be on the law books then, right? but and that's what got me more into the activism, was realizing we need to compound this moral base of religion before we start actually doing good for humanity. So I was like, oh, there's the atheist community. Here's the activism community. Yay, let's shake hands and do this. It started out with one of my friends from an atheist group saying, hey, do you want to do a podcast? I said, sure. Fuck it. Why not?
Why
not? Right? We fucking bitch out people on Facebook all day anyway, right? He lives in Calgary. And then I started noticing the scene. So I was like, well, why can't I talk at conferences? So I just started fucking speaking at conferences about podcasting. And here I am.
That's awesome.
Now here I am. I met Matt a few years ago. He'd been dying to get me out to Austin for years. And my kid's school started failing him. So I call up Matt and I'm like, tell me about Austin. He was like, what? Tell me about Austin. And now I'm a host of GB3. Like I said, it's not real spectacular. It was being angry. It's being angry at shit that I was just like, this shit doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
well, I think we all go through the anger stage, because once you realize you've sort of not necessarily have been lied to, but you've been led to believe things that weren't true.
I was more angry at myself that I fell for it.
Okay.
And I was raised in a household that I should have known better. And I was mad at myself for allowing myself to think of myself that way.
Right. Yeah.
I was less, and I was dating these fucking horribly, I still date horribly horrific guys, which is why I'm single and I'm not dating right now. But I was dating these super Roman Catholic Italian guys that were like this. And I'm like, I knew it was wrong, but in my head, the programming was like, no, this is what you're supposed to do.
That's what they think anyways.
It was the programming though. And then I'm like,
I'm not supposed to do that. Fuck you.
So I was married. I was married for 8 years. And I was going through
me. I was married for 3 months.
If he wasn't deployed so much, it probably would have been a hell of a lot fucking shorter than that. But those 16 months alone really held that marriage together. But 16 months at a time really held that, marriage together. He was Catholic. And I was, right after he had gotten back from Afghanistan was when I really started deconverting out of faith.
Right.
Because we were losing, I want to say we lost 37 guys that deployment, 37 people that I knew, and like triple the wounded. And we're sitting there listening to the Sergeant Major talk when he had come back to tell us that our spouses were being extended another 4 months when they were supposed to be home in 2 weeks. And I remember he said, we're doing God's work over there.
Yeah, we're killing people for God.
But I didn't say it out loud because I didn't want to pack a fucking army wives to literally eat me alive. But I remember thinking, who's God?
Wait, would they eat you alive? Like, what do you mean, like little wafers, kind of like the Jesus?
No, they were so fucking angry that their husbands were gone. They would have ripped me apart, fucking White Walker style. It would have been like, no, I was not. But I remember thinking when he said that, well, who's God? Whose God's work are we doing? Because the region is heavy Arabic, the region is heavy Muslim. So are we doing their God's work or your God's work? But then what about the pagan gods? Do they have a thought? Do they have a fight in this fucking battle? Or what about that God? And what about fucking Buddha and shit? What does Buddha got to say about this? And I went on this existential crisis of this line sitting in this FRG meeting while all these fucking women were flipping out that their husbands were gone. And I should have known that my marriage was over then, that I wasn't upset about my husband being gone longer. I was more focused on this God question. And I came home after that, and I'm like, I never really believed this shit. I kind of, did the motions and did it to appease the family, but I don't believe this. And then I found out there was a word for it. And I was like,
what's the word?
Atheism. I was like,
oh, right.
It was like finding the
Atheism, a non-profit organization.
It was like finding out there was a word for my sexuality. I was like,
I'm multisexual.
I am pansexual, and because of that, my Catholic family likes to call me a heathenist whore, and that I was being selfish.
Lovely.
I was a heathenist whore, and I'm like,
thanks, fam.
Why? Because I have more options than you? Like, is that what you're mad about?
Yeah.
Are you mad that if there's ever a sex tape of me and like 5 other people, your husband's probably gonna watch it? Like, is this?
What's the web address for that one?
But yeah, it was just this kind of years long of, since I was about 5. No, it was 7. I was 7. I remember sitting in communion class, like, I have to eat this motherfucker. Like, one day I'm gonna have to like drink somebody's blood. This shit is nasty, yo. Like, what?
Well, what do they call that when you was it trans something or other? There's a word for that, transmodification or something.
As soon as you put on what this
trans cannibalism.
Fucking trans cannibalism is what this shit is. But it never made sense to me, and it was more breaking from the gender roles that really fucked me up. Modesty and not sleeping with somebody too soon. The Madonna complex. Thank you, Kathy. That was the big thing for me. And
holy cow. Wow, Kathy, thank you so much.
Kathy is like fucking amazing. Kathy is one of the best fucking people I've ever met in my life.
It's kind of my favorite at the moment.
She is amazing. Substantiation. Thank you.
That's it. Substantiation. Thanks, Jill.
It was more breaking from the.
This made me smile too. That's awesome.
Oh,
good for you,
congratulations! Bro. Like everywhere. Congratulations. Yeah. It was more of, I really like this guy and I want to sleep with him, but I can't. That was
Why not?
Whore, the Madonna complex. I was like, he's not gonna like me, and I'm never gonna have a relationship if. And then I really embraced atheism, and I was like, oh my God, sex is great. This is great.
Why was I holding out for so long?
I used to be in the club scene and I wasn't doing this shit. What the fuck is wrong with me? I mean, granted, it probably saved me a lot of money on antibiotics. Don't get me wrong. However,
just want a quick mention. I didn't realize this until I read Donabotful's comment there. 40 years together. That is unbelievable.
Oh my God! Congratulations.
Good for you, Joseph. That's
I can't even keep a shirt for 40 days that I like, let alone a fucking person. Holy shit!
I've got t-shirts that are 10 years old and they still look good.
Not with the way I fluctuate in weight. No. Every time I get fat, I'm like, I'm never gonna be skinny again. I throw everything out, and then I'm like,
shit.
Fuck. Like,
I do it too. Up and down.
Shopping. But yeah, it was breaking from the. I'm 20, I got married at 23, but I remember at 21, I was like, why am I not married yet? What's wrong with me?
Really?
Is there something wrong with me? And when I was having fertility issues after I got married, I felt guilty that I couldn't do this.
Wow.
And I had always questioned if I ever wanted kids, but it was.
That's the influence too from.
And that was the influence. And it was the grappling with, I never felt like my sister's like the super mom. She's got 5 kids. She really enjoys being at home with them. She fucking loves cooking. Which
is fine.
Which is great. She really fucking loves that. But I never.
I like cooking. Or I'm sorry, I like eating cooking.
I like eating. I don't like cooking. The only reason I cook is because I have a kid and I have to feed him. Like if I didn't have him, I would be fucking broke and living on Postmates. But.
Well, I did go to culinary school for a while, so I do have.
That was an option for me, and I was like, ew. Like, I would rather wash walls and baseboards than cook.
I did that too.
But, like, she loves, like, creating a home, and I never and I grappled with that for a while because I felt like there was something wrong with me as a woman.
Yeah, but there's not, though.
For not wanting to provide that and not having this drive to have children.
I get that. Yeah.
And it was coming out of that. It was coming out of not being afraid to stand up for myself and not being afraid to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Because the religious kind of morality was so ingrained in us, but it was masked as culture. Yeah. It wasn't masked as religion. It was masked as this is the Italian way and this is the Italian culture and this is what you have to pass on to your kids. And expecting my little brother was automatically going to be treated better than I was because he was a boy. And knowing that my worth was worth more than cooking and washing dishes. That's where that was my big cut came from, was my autonomy. And my body is something to respect and to be celebrated and not hidden, and nothing to be ashamed of. And it's, even still, my cousin, and I the only reason I say this is wrong is because she genuinely is never exposed to another side. She's, like I said, she's 24. I remember when she was 16, thank you, Static. She came to me at 16 and asked me how my marriage was legal because it wasn't done in a church.
Huh? It doesn't have to be legal.
Yeah, that was a really interesting conversation that night. That was super interesting. I'm like,
it's just, it's not recognized by God. That's all. Fuck him anyways.
But I had asked her, well, you're getting ready to graduate high school. What do you want to do?
I want to rock.
Right? I mean, that's what I went right to the fucking club. But she said that she wanted to go be a beautician, which was great. She wasn't great at it, but fuck it, she tried, right? I mean, hey, she tried. But she was going to work as a hairdresser until she found someone. Oh,
Angie. You turned Angie, out awesome anyways.
Angie, I had a complete life crisis when I got pregnant because of that. Because I was like, I never wanted to be a mom. I shouldn't say I never wanted to be a mom. I never had this driving desire to be a mother. And my son's like a genuine medical miracle, even being here. So I remember when I got pregnant and it was like, oh shit, I may carry to term. I was like, am I going to bond with my kid because I never had this driving force to have children? Am I going to be a terrible mom? No. And that was part of my family's upbringing, was that I was expected to want to do nothing but have kids.
Yeah, it's kind of like this weird dichotomy going on.
Yeah, and even after the whole deconverting, it still fucked with me. I was like, but I don't know if I don't know if I wanted this. Am I going to be a terrible mom? Am I not going to bond with my child? Am I I really went through a major fucking crisis with it because I was programmed that it was so wrong to not want kids and not want the house. And yeah, so that was, and this was on top
family.
Yeah, this was on top of fertility issues and a traumatic pregnancy. And they had said that I had like maybe a less than 5% chance of my egg implanting.
Wow.
And I had even a less of a chance of that to carrying to term, which I didn't. My son was born early. He was born 5 weeks early. Fucking gigantic. He was in better shape than I fucking was leaving the hospital. Like, I'm like hooked up to oxygen tubes and shit, and this kid's just like hanging out.
He's up there hitting on the nurses.
He was. No, like, he genuinely fucking was.
You guys want to see my car?
Yeah, he's like, every time we walk in there, he wakes up and he like smiles at us. And I'm like, and these dimples, he was born with them. Big crystal blue eyes.
Dimples. Awesome.
Chocolate brown hair. And he's like,
I used to have chocolate.
And I'm like,
brown hair.
I'm like, oh no, I want to fucking hit on her, not you, little man. Fucking chill out. Stop that, yo. Stop that shit.
But mom, we could share.
No, that is
no. Okay.
I live in Tennessee, not fucking Alabama, okay? I am not from Alabama.
Sorry I brought that up.
No, we don't roll Tide in this motherfucking house, okay? Yeah. We don't do that shit. But yeah, it was deconverting from being less.
Yeah.
Because I was a woman and what was expected of me. And
yeah, it's one of the biggest things that I hate, because let's face it, all the Abrahamic and others as well have that instilled in those beliefs.
I know some polytheists that would viciously argue their religion.
Oh, there are some that don't believe that as well. They're very matriarchal based religions that are quite the opposite. I was involved with some of them at some point myself. So, but I just think it's just brain poison to think that way.
I did that briefly too. I went the evidence-based approach for religion. I read the Bible, I read the Torah, I read the Quran. I started looking into, yes. Wow. Well, so my neighborhood was really fucking weird. So like, here's the projects, right? That's where I live.
Italians always hung out, man. We were like almost like the same kind of families.
But yet the families would flip out when they would marry each other. It's like,
which I always found weird, but you know.
So it's like, here was the projects, and this is where I lived. And then right behind us was the local 3. They had built apartments for the local electricians union headquarters. So those were right behind it. And if you went down past my elementary school, you had an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood here and then an Arabic neighborhood across the street.
Yeah.
That was another thing. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all fighting for religion for? Y'all gotta come to my neighborhood. I mean, shit, we don't give a fuck. We don't fucking care. So, you know, I went to my friends, and I looked into every fucking religion. And I do have to say, Norse paganism was probably the closest that I came to. I didn't get really into it, but I was like, whatever the fuck this shit is, it's cool.
I got right into Druidism myself.
Druidism was a little too hood-weary.
But I like that.
I was like, look at the hair. Look at the I need someone's going to celebrate that shit. And actually,
we should mention that you're debuting the new hair right here first.
Right here, yes. This is the final color and result. I need to learn what darker colors does to my hair to figure out how to style it so it looks like absolute shit right now. But like this whole side is like, what the fuck? So I'm like,
well, I think it's a great color on you. So
thank you. It's the closest I'm going to get to my natural color in a bottle. Oh, like okay. My eyebrows actually match now, and that's fucking totally different for me. I'm like, wait. But I looked at the blonde, and I'm like,
mine are still the old color, and then my hair is going all.
What does that happen? Why don't eyebrows go gray?
They do eventually, but this beats it to it, right? It all happens here first, and then it kind of moves its way up your head because I have the odd gray in there. And what's the weirdest part is when all the other hair starts going gray.
I keep pretty well shaven, so even if I was going gray, like I dye and color everything and then shave the rest off. So if I'm going gray,
I wouldn't know.
And I like living that kind of blissful ignorance when it comes to my looks, honestly. But I was, I'm 37, and I'm noticing the blonde was making me look almost 37. And I'm
almost 37, so it's making you look your age then.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't know. Ew, why? Why do I want to look that way? And actually, the first time I cut my hair short in years. So I live in the South. Now, anybody that lives in the South knows if you ask a fucking stylist to do your hair as a fucking woman, what are they going to do? They're going to get that fucking curling iron out, and they're going to give you that fucking them Southern. The I sell doTERRA.
That hairspray.
I'm gonna be a Boss Babe Waves. They do that curl thing. So I come home with this shit, and my mother goes, "I love your hair. It makes you look you look more your age." And I was like,
"Fuck you."
I washed my hair and straightened it as soon as she fucking said that. I was like, and I'm like, yeah, I was going through a really bad breakup at the time. So I was like, I'm done with this motherfucker hair. Y'all know the done with this motherfucker hair, right? When you cut all your fucking hair off and shit and do a different style. And she was like, it really makes you look your age. And I was like, I need to find another way to be done with this motherfucker. Mom. I need to find another way to be done with this motherfucker and not this way. Like, no, I can't do this now. Yeah, that's my deconversion story. It was more about my autonomy than leaving religion. And that pisses me off when people cloak religion and tradition and culture.
Oh yeah, what's that meme I just saw recently? Tradition is trying to appease dead people. Right? Well, who cares?
If I wanted to do that, I'd stay married to my ex-husband because Lord knows he was fucking brain dead.
Some also Susan, my friend Susan Turpin, who's part of Divine Disbelief.
Oh my
channel.
God, Susan, no, I know what you mean. They always do that when you're like, I want to cut it short. They always do like the shorter in the back and then they fucking raise it like 4 feet in the air. Now, mind you, I'm Italian. Y'all want to talk about big ass headed fucking hair women? I have Aquanet in my bathroom right now.
They don't even make that shit anymore.
Like, no, fuck that shit. I kill the ozone with my goddamn hair. I'm like,
it's okay. It's replenishing itself anyway.
Close a minute at midnight anyway. This shit's not gonna fucking affect it, right?
And I was referring to actually one of Susan's other comments about her husband, Nathaniel, whose beard is starting to go gray. She says it looks good. And I always thought that was kind of funny because apparently when men go gray, they look more quote unquote distinguished.
They do. I like gray.
It works. And well,
women, if it's women either look like you're gonna die in 2 days. Or if
some of the looks are great though with the gray, and some women are intentionally going silver now.
You have to have the right skin tone for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. I don't. I thought about it and I was like, "You fucking kidding me, bitch? What? Really? No, stop that shit." But I like men with gray. I like men with gray, unless I'm on one of my "I'm gonna date younger men" kicks, which I go on sometimes when I want to feel better about myself.
They're trouble. They're nothing but trouble.
The fuck this bitch hair, I'm done with that motherfucker was my, I'm gonna date a 24-year-old and this is totally gonna work.
You cougar, you.
It was the first one after the divorce.
Oh,
I think everyone kind of does that. I ain't had no business making that boy a relationship.
No, you just.
But I'm like, I got it out of the system. A lot of people are like, are you going to get married again? And I'm like, no, I'm very much the type of person that tries something once and never does it again. Like I had one kid.
And then especially if it went awry.
Yeah. And then I had a hysterectomy. I'm like, okay, done. And I got shit from my family with that too.
Really?
Yeah. I let my Catholic family know that I was going in for a hysterectomy. And my aunt like sucked her teeth at me. I was like,
really?
Yeah, she went.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, well, what's up? And she's like, well, you can meet somebody and okay.
Yeah, I can meet lots of people.
And I'm like, do you understand though that I have a pre-existing condition that makes me non-functional for 2 weeks out of the month? Like this was medically needed. But what if you meet somebody and they want kids? Then they don't need to be with me. Shit, then that is not my somebody. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm like, I'm raising one by myself already. And I got told that what I should have done was come back to New York, pay $3,000 a month and work 2 jobs and never see my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I can have my family raise him where he should have been in the church.
Oh, good Lord, no.
Yep.
No.
And this is why I'm putting double distance between me and my family now. I'm like, oh, y'all want to talk like this with 900 miles? How about 1,700?
Yeah.
But, I got backlash. Yes, exactly. Well, here's a funny story that not a lot of you may know. In the U.S., if you are a woman and you are married, before you get your tubes tied or have a hysterectomy, your husband has to sign off on it and say that he's okay with you having your tubes tied or having a hysterectomy. Like they have to sign off on it or they won't do it. Insurance companies legitimately will not continue with the procedure if you're married and your husband says no. And this happened with when I had my son, I had a C-section. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, after this pregnancy and this birth, fuck that. I'm dying. And I'm like, well, emergency C-section, I'm fucking opened up anyway, fucking 2 birds with 1 stone. Kid in the fucking uterus and fuck it, let's get it all out. And my ex-husband turned around and told me in front of the doctor, I want to talk about this before you do it. And she wouldn't do it. She couldn't get the authorization to do it because of that.
Wow. Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jeez, wow.
Yep.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah. And it's like this for many other women. There's actually, and if you're single, you have to make a certain age threshold. You have to have a certain amount of kids before they'll sign off on it without a pre-existing condition. This is another reason why I got into activism.
Bullshit,
I'm like, this is bullshit. What are you talking about? Is another reason.
It's other people trying to influence your own decisions. Like, go fuck yourself.
Activism for me, I'm not an anti-theist. That's where I'm different than a lot of people in the atheist community. I'm not an anti-theist.
Well, that word has people, I think, misunderstand what it means. Like, I'm not against religious people. I'm against religion. So I'm anti-theist.
Yeah, I am.
I'm not an anti-theist.
Right. I'm anti-theism. I'm not an anti-theist. To me, faith is a very personal thing. And as long as you keep it personal, I don't give a shit what you do. If you're not hurting your kids and you're not hurting somebody else with it, I don't fucking care what you do.
Yeah.
Your ability to swing your fist ends at my nose.
Yep.
The minute it starts getting into my laws, the minute it starts affecting people on a day-to-day level and an economic level, an autonomy level, that's when I get involved. You keep your fucking God at home in your house, and that's fine. You start legislating with it is when we have a fucking problem. You start being racist at it, go ahead. Yeah, now we're gonna have a problem.
Taking away the rights of others.
Right. You start treating your fucking daughter like she's less because this is what your God fucking told you to. That's when I have a fucking problem.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't even think you should raise your kids religious.
Nope. You can. I think you should still say, hey, listen. This is what lots of other people have. They have these different belief systems. You're allowed to look at them and decide if you want to be.
Well, that's what I do with my son. I do that with my son. My son knows I'm an atheist. Yeah. I mean, his mother does a show called Godless Bitches. I mean,
it's pretty tell right there.
You know, it's, you know, and we were watching TV. He was eating breakfast one morning and a commercial for CNN came on and it said, so this person said, thank God there is a God.
Oh, jeez.
And I saw his face kind of, and I'm like, okay, we're going to have this conversation at 8 o'clock in the morning and I haven't finished coffee yet.
Give me another cup, kid. Then we'll get into this.
But my son is also autistic. So everything is very black and white for him. There is no kind of
no nuance.
There's really no abstract, right? So he's just staring at the TV and I said, you know, Bob, what's up? He goes, Mommy, what's God?
What's God? Made up concept by human beings.
And now, mind you, we live in the South, though. So I'm like, he's got friends that believe, you know, everything else. And I explain some people believe that there is a person or another person that lives on, you know, many people that live on other planes and they kind of control things and they do this and they do that. And, you know, many people down here think, you know, that I got into Jesus and all that shit. And he just sat there for a second. It is I will always remember this. He was eating Cookie Crisp cereal. God is like Voldemort.
Yeah.
He was eating Cookie Crisp cereal. Because this is my
favorite. Oh, I love that stuff.
That's my favorite. I miss milk so fucking much. It's just because of Cookie Crisp. Like, and I said, so Bug, what do you think? And he went, that's stupid. And I went,
yes.
I was just like, hey, what? That's stupid.
I miss Lennon. Yeah, that is stupid.
And I said, well, you know, it's kind of like Santa and the Tooth Fairy. He goes, yeah, that's stupid too. I said, so who gets your gifts? He goes, your wallet. And I was like, no, he said your purse. I said, well, who buys your Christmas gifts? He goes, your purse. And I was like,
your purse.
But this was the kid. I have a crucifix from my grandmother's coffin, which was more sentimental than anything. And I forgot that I had actually had it on the wall above my bed.
Uh-oh.
So I hear my kid, he had to be about 3, giggling his ass off in my bedroom. He's got a pool noodle and he's beating the fuck out of this crucifix. And I'm like,
one for the pool noodle. You're kind of in one of those positions where should I let him keep doing this? Or
I let him do it. I thought it was fucking hysterical. I was like, well, it's a king size bed. He's not going to fall and hurt himself. So fuck it. After we had the is there a God conversation, I hear Matt Dillahunty's voice coming from my upstairs.
Uh-oh.
And I thought my kid had taken my phone and maybe called him. And I was like, fuck. So I go running upstairs and he's got the Atheist Experience on. He had to be about 5.
Awesome.
And I was like, and I just very slowly backed out. I was like, it was cartoonish. I was like,
he's on the right track.
So, you know, my kid's playing Mario Kart one day and he hits somebody and he goes, no, you're done. And I was like, no, fuck that. You're not watching this anymore. No, you are not fucking watching ACA programming fucking anymore.
Why? That's the best phrase ever.
No.
They even use it in the sign off for the shows.
Because now every time he gets mad, he screams it. No, I'm done. You are done. I was like, I'm waiting for the fucking day you say that shit to me. Because I'm going to yell like I yell at Matt. You want to fucking talk like him? You're going to fucking talk to me like I fucking talk to him. Fuck off. And then what are you going to do? Nothing. God damn it. But everyone thinks it's hilarious. My kid's like little Matt Dillahunty running around now. And I'm waiting. Oh, him and all his friends are on YouTube. And I'm waiting for him to go to school and be like, yeah, my mom's on YouTube. What's your mom's show? Godless bitches. I'm just waiting. But
Joseph wants to know how old your son is.
He's 8. He'll be 9 in October.
8.
Yeah.
October. What's the date in October?
1st. October 1st.
Oh, actually, we talked about this because I'm on the 20th.
You're the 20th. Yep, my son's October 1st. Another funny godless bitches story. The crazy Catholic aunt that when I had the hysterectomy.
Yeah.
She says God bless after every good thing ever. She sends me this little fucking Christmas card, and I'm like, yeah, she's like, so what are you doing? I was like, we're launching the show.
Burning your Christmas card. I mean,
she goes, oh, God bless. What's it called? And I said, godless bitches. And she went, oh. She went,
well, how do you react? And
then my cousin tells me that, mind you, I'm off the rolls for the Catholic Church. Her church is praying for me to find the way back now.
Well, that'll do them, about this much good.
And I'm like, well, if you want to wait for a night service and actually watch the show and pray for the things that I'm talking about, we appreciate the views.
Well, we all know how well prayer works.
If prayer fucking worked, believe me, I could sit and eat this fucking Taco Bell and not have to worry about it. I mean,
right.
If prayer worked, I wouldn't have married my ex-husband. Because I did pray for God to send me a good man.
I like what Susan said about your kids using that catchphrase because.
He cracks up every time. He cracks up every time he hears it. Like I'm like, I live with him now. Like I can't. No, you're done. I was like, I'm waiting for him to play dodgeball at school and be like, no, you're done. Bang, and be like.
So your son's 8 and PJ says, I wish I was 8 years old again, although that would make me holding a spear a bit awkward.
You clearly are not from an Irish family, PJ.
Yeah, you'd need 2 hands. It's okay.
You would need 2 hands. That's and that's what cracks me up. I'm like, you're also fucking religious.
Hold on here. No, Dinobotful, the appearance of prayer working 1 in 10. Prayer doesn't work at all.
Here's the issue with why prayer works. It's a placebo tactic. Mm-hmm. It's a placebo tactic. You pray and pray and pray for something, and then all of a sudden you think you start seeing signs. Or you start actually doing shit because now you're fucking motivated to go do whatever the fuck it is you want this prayer to work for. This is why fucking prayer works. This is why prayer works. I could sit here and pray that I fuck Chris Helmsworth by the end of the year. Right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to look for places where he's making an appearance. I'm going to buy tickets for and if I fuck him, oh my God, prayer works. No, bitch, your fucking wallet did. Not prayer. We actually had a call on Talk Heathen from a guy who was an alcoholic. Beat alcoholism and
I remember.
Yes, and turned around and said, it was God that did it. And I actually asked him, we had asked, was this the first time you had prayed on it? Was this something that you had been trying? Yeah. And I had actually said, why are you taking the credit for something that you wanted so bad that you worked for and placing it in the hands of an absentee father, an abusive husband? Why? Yeah. I don't understand that. So prayer works 1 out of 10 times because that's the one time you decided to get up off your lazy ass and fucking do something for something.
Right.
I never understood taking your autonomy and your hard work. And that was another part of it too. I'm like, and to me, it was the free will question. If everything is determined by God, why do we have free will? And if everything is determined by God, then what the fuck am I doing anything for?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's his plan, right? If
if everything's his plan, then
what's the point of free will, right?
Why don't I just lay in fucking bed until I die?
It must have been part of his plan to all those children to be raped by priests, I guess.
And
what a shitty plan.
That didn't fuck with me years later, because the listings didn't come out for years later. And I remember, and this is so fucked up, I always contributed kind of our fucked up, broken home shit to everyone that I kind of grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And why, like we had terrible relationships and we had problems with boundaries and we were fucking criminals and fucking hooligans and shit.
Yay,
and now looking back, now knowing that these were priests that we came in contact with, I now look at them and wonder if maybe that was it. But how the fuck do you ask somebody that? Like, hey, he touched a lot of kids. Were you fucking one of them? Like, you can't just go up to people.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I come from a background in a culture that being gay, they'll save the pedophile uncle, but
that's the truth.
They'll get rid of the gay son. They'll disown the gay son. So being touched as a kid, being attacked, being molested is a sign of weakness in the culture that I come from.
Being attacked and being raped is a sign of weakness.
It's a sign of weakness. As a child,
fuck that.
So there's a saying, being touched.
Not being able to keep yourself from doing that is a sign of fucking weakness.
There's a saying called being touched. And what it means is that men are usually gay because they were touched as children.
Yeah.
So it's, they would rather disown the gay son than the pedophile uncle. It's a really fucked up, skewed way. So
it's fucked up, yeah, for sure.
Coming at men in the culture that I came up with and saying, hey, did this happen to you, produces an extreme defensive reaction. Because there's something wrong with them and there's a weakness to them, they're almost tainted. But now looking back at how some of my friends are, and then knowing that we were in contact with these priests, I'm like, and that makes me fucking angry. That, everyone's like, well, you're Catholic, and what do you think of this Pope? I'm like, he's still a piece of shit. I don't give a shit if he tells me I'm going to fucking heaven. I don't give a shit if he tells me my right to choice. Fuck that, I don't care. He's harboring child molesters. He's protecting he's protecting men that hurt my friends.
Right. And there's evidence that
I wasn't touched either, and I'm gay too. Well, I don't know if I consider I'm in the spectrum of queerness. Yes, I'm in the spectrum of queerness. Is what I am. But I'm like, he's harboring people who are hurting children. I don't give a shit what he says, how good of a fucking person I am. You're a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, a lot of my abusive ex-boyfriends are probably like, she's the one that got away. Oh my God. And I'm like, you're still a fucking scumbag. It doesn't make you any fucking better because you're saying I'm a fucking good person. You're still a fucking piece of shit.
There's a reason I'm not with you anymore.
And that lesson takes me a fucking whole while to get. Like, this is why I don't date now. This is why I'm just like I've looked at my last couple of months and went, clearly I haven't learned this fucking lesson. So
you don't date like at all? No?
Not right now.
It's been 10 years for me, so.
It's been, I think it'll be about a year this summer.
Wow.
But it's, I've gone 3
years.
I was 3 years out of my divorce. I didn't date. Yeah. I just don't have it right now. Like, I'm doing the shows. I got the kid. I'm moving to Austin. I'm working all the time. And I don't have the patience for it. I'm like, wait, what? So, okay. You want me after working a 10-hour day and dealing with my kid and doing my show notes and doing everything else to give a shit about what happened on your day-to-day? No, honey, I'm sorry. I just don't have that. I just don't. I don't fucking care. No.
I know. And I've been there too myself. It's one of those situations where, I mean, I've been in this position before, and then all of a sudden I meet someone and everything just suddenly changed. Right. I was like, holy shit. Okay. That's at least, there's one person that I could make something with. And of course it turned out not to be the case, but anyways.
Me, I'm like.
But I always say it's worth a try. Right. I mean, if you find someone that you have that gel with, it's worth a try.
But my thing is, I have a tendency to attract narcissists.
Oh.
Big time. And I get caught up in the beginning stages of a narcissist. and I do this all the time. Like, I'll get rid of really great people because I'm so into this love bombing thing. And then I'm just like, well, you're an asshole. Fuck, god damn it. Really? Do you know how much good fucking shit I passed the fuck up on because of this fucking abusive ass shit? No. So I'm like, you know what? Clearly I'm not in a space to make good decisions on relationships right now. So I'm just gonna.
Yeah. I came to that conclusion myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of pace back with that. And Christians love me. I had one try to save me.
Because you're forbidden fruit.
I had one try to save me on a first date.
Really?
I don't know.
Did you like? Okay, well, I'll pay for myself. I'm out of here.
It was on Tinder, which was my first fucking mistake. Right?
Oh my goodness.
My first fucking mistake.
That app has never graced my phone at all. I did plenty of fish once.
It's a good ego boost for me, but not an intellectual one.
Yeah, that's like Hot or Not. You remember that one?
Oh,
came up a little while ago.
I remember Hot or Not. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I put my picture up there and I never heard anything back from it. So I don't know.
It's different for women.
Yeah.
The internet is like being locked in a hot dog factory during a hurricane.
Oh, no one. Oh, no one. The dick's flying everywhere.
I should like do a show one day of just the crazy shit that I get on Twitter and like Facebook, like all the time. But he was a born again Christian. He knew I was an atheist.
Yeah.
And he was fine with it. And in a way, it was kind of cool for me too, because it's kind of like the food and fruit for me. And he was cute.
Yeah.
He was really fucking dumb, but he was nice to look at.
The cute ones usually are.
He was, oh my god, he was so cute. And we went bowling and it was great. And we're having this great time. And I'm like, I want some fucking baked potato soup from O'Charlie's. So let's go to fucking O'Charlie's. I said, you are hot, Neil. You've got that.
Mikey, you trying to butter me up.
You've got that. He's either going to beat my ass or love me more than anyone. But it's like,
unless they deserve it, right? Thumb in the eye.
The look is like either he's going to get me in a lot of trouble or he's going to be the best thing that I've ever had in my life.
Well,
I love that you're a big teddy bear. But we're sitting in O'Charlie's. And I ordered my baked potato soup and I got my fucking pomegranate lemonade, whatever the fuck thing. I was so fucking excited for this. I was so excited. And he goes, so I want to talk to you about your relationship with Jesus.
So not with me. You want to keep it with Jesus or
no? He tied it in.
Oh, what, like a three-way?
He goes, I really like you, but I can't move anything forward because I want to make sure that the person that I love is somebody I'm going to see in heaven for eternity.
Oh, geez. I just realized that me doing this is going to be memed by Inquisitive Quandary at some point.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, so how do you feel about rekindling your relationship with Jesus? And I looked at him and I said, look, if you mention this guy one more time, I'm going to go find him and go home with him tonight.
And look, we got some more advice from
it's okay if it's in a three. Leave room for Jesus, kids. Remember, always leave room for Jesus. Don't get too close. Leave room for Jesus.
That's right. Leave room, even if you need a shoehorn.
So I looked at him and I said, look, a second date isn't happening at all. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to eat my soup and my burger. And you are more than welcome to sit with me if you want to. But I'm going to pay for my end and you're going to pay for yours. And to his credit, he stayed. He fucking stayed. He stayed. Like, this O'Charlie's.
Okay, give him points for that.
O'Charlie's, Riverside Avenue, Clarksville. Holy fuck. It's like so delicious. But I mean, if Jesus is in a bondage, I mean, I dated a Jesus that was in a bondage.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. That was weird as an atheist. That was
really
weird as an atheist, calling out his
and being tied up by Jesus.
Yeah, it was really fucking weird. And I was like, I felt bad. Like, I felt wrong. I was like,
this is somehow sinful,
this is really wrong. I was like, I'm screaming the name of a deity while this guy has me tied up, and
it's the alleged son of that deity. Or is it
I'm like, if I get on my knees, is this like taking the host?
There's so much blasphemy going on right now.
Can I circumvent the whole body and blood of Christ thing if I do a good enough job on my knees with this guy?
Say my name.
Say my name. I'm like, this is like, excuse me. Is this the loophole for getting out of, like, can I confess my sins while I'm fucking this guy, get on my knees, take the body and blood, and then have time on getting up early on a Sunday? Is this the loophole? Oh my God, this is horrible.
Did Jesus get a second coming?
No, I'm probably watching right now too.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, Jesus.
I know my family's probably watching this right now.
Your family? Oh. Hey, fam.
Yes, the ones that said I had mental problems. I shared a meme on Facebook about the cognitive dissonance of saying somebody's wrong for wanting like socialized healthcare, but backing an organization that rapes kids or some shit. Mm-hmm. And I got told I had mental problems, that I was always the problem child, and they knew I should have been committed from the time.
Problem child.
And I was like, Angela, I'd rather call out abuse on children than raise my kids with a fucking heroin addict like you did.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know, you shouldn't have gotten divorced. I was like, oh, like you? Because now both of your kids are now fucking heroin addicts because they learned it from their fucking father?
Oh, boy. Well, Jen, what do you say we take this to an after party now?
Yes, because I have a taco here from Taco Bell that I
really kind of want to eat right now?
I really kind of want to eat right now. And I don't want to do it during an interview because I try to be somewhat professional-ish.
It's okay. It's my show, man. There's no professionalism all here.
Sometimes. Yeah, but who wants to be like, I'm sitting here with my baked potato soup. Like who the fuck wants to do that? Like, no.
Kind of making me want tacos now, actually.
Postmates. Oh, well. I told you, fucking Postmates is amazing. Postmates. But yeah, we'll take this to the after party. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening to my boring ass story. I appreciate it.
But it wasn't boring. You see, you have this way of making boring exciting. So.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
You would think I'd get laid more often if that was the
case. Well, you know.
Wait, the Dildo Extreme Championship? This is what we're fucking talking about in the after party. That.
Dildo Extreme Championship.
I want to know how to fucking sign up. Because on a good dry spell, I could win that motherfucker.
Okay, there's some stuff going on in my chat that I didn't notice until just now. And it's like, geez, you people. Settle down over there. Am I going to have to throw cold water all over everybody?
This is what happens when I show up. I get everyone all worked up and then they go to Tinder. Like,
yeah, and then internet porn.
Sorry. I'm good business for Pornhub, apparently. It was good for the next hack. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, there's not a lot of us. I think Catholics are so Catholic light these days that they don't even give a shit, that they stop believing, so nobody says anything. Like, nobody says shit. They're just like, yeah, it's kind of what's expected.
Way to show up at the end, Purple.
Hello. I love it.
Yeah, Purple's awesome. Okay. Well, first and foremost, Jen, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I fucking love you. I love you. And
well, feelings mutual.
This was such an honor for me, seriously. Thank you.
Really? Again, feelings mutual.
Thank you.
Neil's threatening to get us all wet. You mean promising? Anyways.
That's what the after parties are.
That's right. Speaking of which, also thanks to everyone who was hung out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation.
Showing up and singing about shit. I appreciate it.
Turn to the dark side at the end, but hey, you know, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. That's why I have 18 plus when
at least we write a better fucking story than Kylo Ren does.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always mark these things as not suitable for children.
No. Anything that I'm on is never suitable for children. No.
Yeah, ditto. Even my Yu-Gi-Oh channel that I have, which, by the way, if you do play the game, I have a channel for Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, I don't, but I want to see how you make Yu-Gi-Oh not safe for work. Now I'm just fucking curious.
Well, there's swearing and stuff, right? I always put like little, you know, like I always tell kids, you know, don't let your parents know you're watching this shit.
Logan, oh my God, now I feel bad. We've traumatized Logan.
Oh. But anyways, yeah, so I do a Yu-Gi-Oh channel too, and under the name Sayris 13, SAYRAS 13, all one word. And I have, I don't know, about 2,300, 2,400 subs on that channel too. or more on that channel than I do on this one.
You big ass deal.
No, I've been doing it since like 2010, so it's been a while.
Deal.
There's a lot of fun stuff. It's got all my trip down to Los Angeles or whatever for the YCS 100 and stuff like that.
Oh my God, I have to go watch this. I definitely have to go watch this.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I was in there with the other big Yugi tubers, as we call them, and playing some games and stuff, and my ass kicked repeatedly. But anyway, that's another story.
This sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was at Yu-Gi-Oh today before we went on the stream. So I was at the sneak peek, which, by the way, is the last sneak peek they're ever doing.
Looking at the chat real quick, we have a surprise for the after party. I have had a song written about me on one of the last shows that I did for Neil.
Really?
And apparently the song is revealed in the after party.
Oh, Mikey did that, I think.
Yeah, did the song.
I've heard it. He sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's coming in the after party. Yes,
of course, Mikey. But you have to be in the after party, which takes me to my next statement before we call this one a show. We will be doing an after party, and if anyone is interested in joining us for the after party, you can message me through Twitter or Facebook if you're not on Twitter, and let me know if you'd like to join in. Now, we may get a large influx of people, so I might have to swap people in and out, kind of like I did last time with Paulogia.
I'm so sorry I missed that one.
No, it was fun too. Paul's fucking fantastic, man. He took that shit like a trooper. He's such a good guy. Him and Shannon.
And Shannon.
They're like the power couple, right? Like, they're awesome, both of them. And I've also had Shannon on my show way back in the beginning, because she's Canadian, right?
I think Shannon does.
Oh yeah, she's got great content. Anyway, so let's get into an after party, and if you're interested, let me know.
Stuff my face with Taco Bell.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a bit of a break, give about 10 minutes, so you can eat your food, and I'll go grab some more refills and have the
alcohol comes out at the after party for me. I don't do it.
Oh, whoops, that's not one. Yes, I already said that. Have I met Yugi Jesus? No. Met Yugi Jesus.
Neil is Yugi Jesus. That's what he's been hiding from us. Neil.
Actually, I've been called that at a Yu-Gi-Oh event. Right?
Neil is Yugi Jesus. He's been hiding that from us.
Well, it went kind of like this. There was little baby birds that I guess had fallen out of the nest, and everyone was trying to catch them. And they'd run away from everyone. And then I sort of walked up to them, and I just crouched down about 4.5 feet away from them and put my arms out like this, and both of them flew onto my shoulder. And I took them to the nest and put them back in the nest, or where the mother could take them back to the nest. And everyone's just standing around there with these jaws going, You're Jesus.
Neil is Yugi Jesus. That's it.
Yugi Jesus, yeah.
Neil's the Messiah for the Yu-Gi-Oh communities now.
There you go. But you think I'd win more games if that was the case?
Atheist. Fuck, you're terrible fucking atheist. God damn.
I am too. I'm horrible.
I am. We'll get into that in the after party about how bad it is.
Yeah. Let's do that. All right, guys. We're gonna take a bit of a break. So in about 8 to 10 minutes, we'll probably fire up the after party.
Yep.
So look for it. Just check out the Jen Aldrich after party, and you'll find it.
I'll be sharing it on Twitter. Oh yeah, you got my Twitter shit in there and everything, right?
Yeah. I should probably do that anyways. I'll load it up right now on the search. There we go.
I'm in there.
And I can actually post it in the chat.
Twitter. I'm getting more into Twitter than Facebook now, but I'm still learning Twitter. I know how to send messages there now, which is great.
I barely use Facebook at all these days.
I'm starting to turn off of Facebook more.
Put it in the chat there, guys. That's the link for the after party.
Yep.
So if you want to check it out, and if you want to be a part of it, let me know. Dino Buffle. Praise Neil.
I love, right? Praise Neil. You give it.
Dinobots were my favorite too in the Autobots. Grimlock, man. Grimlock was the best. Is he first Transformer to almost swear live on in the movie during the movie. Transformers movie.
You have to remember, I was a massive Transformers fan.
Oh, me too.
My first cat was actually named after the battle cat for He-Man. Like, that's how much I loved 80s fucking cartoons. We need Jen on girls. Yes, I am always up for the girls' nights.
Yeah, you'll have to message
I bring cheap $4 Aldi wine. Like, I am perfect for fucking girls' nights.
Neil the 604 Yuki Jesus.
That's right. It's a thing now. It's been spoken.
Oh my God. IQ came up with a great meme. You know, Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Well, he's got Baby Yoda with a bandana and the long hair and holding my Yeti thing, which is great.
And like you had gone out. It was the day after an after party, and you had gone out. And I was like, Neil, what the fuck have you been doing when you go out? Why are there Baby Yodas that look like you in this world? I want to know. Now I'm questioning shit. I've done the atheist experience, but Baby fucking Yoda Neil, that makes me question shit.
All right. We're supposed to be doing this.
Yes, I know. We always do this. Fuck.
I know. I know. Well, that's the whole Italian Jewish thing, right? They come to the house and then they never leave, right?
It's like after 85 goodbyes and 4-pound cakes later, we're actually.
Yeah, exactly.
And a cannoli, like, fuck.
Yeah, you have to have cannolis. Fuck, those are awesome. Anyway.
I want them.
All right, guys, we're going to bring this one to an end. I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourselves. I'm assuming you enjoyed yourself.
I hope so.
Yeah, because I did. And
I did.
I think.
I love your shows.
Oh, thanks.
So
it means a lot. It means a lot. It means I'm doing something right. And
I was so excited about this. I was like,
how come I don't have like 3 times the amount of subscribers that I
You reached out to me and I was like, holy shit, Neil actually asked me. Like, I fucking told everybody before I got in. I was like, I'm going to be on Neil's show. I was like freaking out.
I got to get Matt on. He keeps going, oh, yeah. And then he never answers me. Bastard.
Because you got to be like, hey, these are the fucking dates I have. Pick one.
I did.
Okay, I'll go yell at him then.
Well, no, just tell him to send me a message and I'll send him my updated dates.
I enjoy yelling at Matt. Please let me.
Well, you do you. Every night before bed. I mean,
we're gonna keep doing the Jewish and Italian thing here tonight. You know that. Viral like the last.
Hey, what's the problem? All right. So, anyways, let's jump into the after party. Thanks again, everyone, for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
I always appreciate when you guys come and hang out. It means a lot to me that you guys are digging what I do. And if that's the case and you kind of want to help out the show a little bit, I have multiple ways to do that. I've got all the links below. You can become a patron. Hell, you could just join my Discord and put some influence into what we do. And also, I also have a Amazon wish list if you want to make one of my wishes come true. And I also have you can do a one-time donation through my PayPal if you'd like to. And of course, there's always the super chats, which we had tonight, which was fantastic.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, we're going to bring this one to a close, and we are going to jump in an after party. I posted the link further up there, and I'll do it one more time just before we go, just in case anyone didn't catch it the first time. And until then, like I always say at the end of these awesome conversations, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.